Hello, welcome to Book Talk. I'm your host, Anthony Moirore. At Book Talk, we get to have an author come and tell us about his book or her book. And today, we have a great guest, a guest who has endured loss and turned that test of faith into a tremendous testimony. He's another who has written uh, a series of books, but she's going to tell us all about that. So I won't take one more minute. I'll just introduce to the show April Fore. And I hope I got that
You did. That was really good. A lot of people mispronounce it, but thank you so much for having me on today, Anthony. Yeah, thank you for having me and talking about my books. And
right.
yeah,
Yes, and we are honored to have you in this episode. We are glad that you are agreed or saw the opportunity to come and share with us your story. So, to begin with, can we know where you're from?
I am from South Carolina, a small town in South Carolina called Conway, South Carolina. So yeah, a lot of people they might know Myrtle Beach. So we're close to Myrtle Beach, but yeah, I'm from Conway.
Oh, beautiful. Tell us a little bit about your growing up in a few sentences.
Um, it was very fun. I have a very big family. I grew up, we lived like I always say it was like a commune, but we live in like a little bubble. It's, my grandmother was right beside me, my uncles were behind me. Down the street was more family. So very tight, close family. The summers always consisted of like shelling peas or beans with my grandmother, playing with my cousins, running in her garden and things like that. And I never wore shoes. It's just a country girl.
You never wore shoes.
Not in the summer. Like we just
That's
always
interesting
just
because even when where I grew up, I was born in Kenya. Now where I grew up in the village, we never wore shoes, and we used like I shared that story yesterday on one of my social platforms, saying I was running 5 kilometers every day to school, 5 kilometers back at lunch hour to have something, and then back to school, and then in the evening 5 kilometers, and that's how we become great marathon runners
yeah.
without shoes.
Well, I'm not doing all that running, but we were just, we were running a lot and definitely didn't have on shoes. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's beautiful. So, and yeah, so we talk about books. When did you begin writing?
I started writing the book. It was for a class project. I was going to college. I was in college, and it was a class project. My major is elementary education and early childhood development. So we had to write a children's book,
Mhm.
and I just wrote it for the assignment. I remember my professor was telling me, she said, well, that was, she said, the book is beautiful, but you wrote a very, you exceeded what we needed you to do. And I said, yeah. And so that was in 2014.
Mhm.
And I just put it away, but I always knew that I wanted to write a book. And it was in 2019 that I actually wrote the book and published it. I wrote the book in about like a day and a few days because I just knew what I wanted it to say. I knew how I wanted it to look. So I um I wrote it in a couple of days and then I started looking for people to help me illustrate it. So I
Mm.
started writing officially in 2019.
Wow, that's interesting. Class project that turns out to be a real life project.
Yeah.
Interesting. Um, what's the story behind it?
So in 2000, also in 2014, I lived in Atlanta. I had a nanny business. I would find nannies and match them with families. So my whole background is children, and I love children. And I was a nanny, and I worked with special needs kids and everything like that. And in 2014, 14, I found out that I was pregnant. I was so excited. I was 30, so I was really excited. My family was excited. And I went to a routine check of the baby and myself. And that is when I found out that my baby had some chromosomal abnormalities. And that's just when my world changed. I found out that she was going to have a disease called Turner syndrome, and it only affects girls. And she had like a 1% chance of making it. And I wanted to get her here, but there was other plans and work, so she didn't. May 23rd, 2014, she went back to heaven, and I made a promise to her that I was going to bring awareness to Turner syndrome, because not a lot of people know about it. I didn't know about it, and I worked with special needs kids, and I've never heard of it. And so I didn't want her legacy to die. I didn't want just that experience just to be put on the back burner, or, I didn't want it just to be like a part of my past life. Like it's a continuation of my life. It is one of the major things that changed my life and made me the person that I am today. And I think it made me the mother that I am today. So I made a promise to her that I was going to honor her, and I was going to talk about her, and I was going to talk about Turner syndrome. So the book is about Emma Grace. Her name is Emma Grace. Um, and I put the last name as Godwins because God always wins. That is
Yeah.
how he got me through this dark moment in my life. And so that's where the last name comes from. But yeah, I it's about her, and it's about girls with Turner syndrome, and it shows some of the challenges that they face, but it also shows them that, hey, I might have this condition, but it's not going to stop me. I can run. And it's funny because in the first book she does run a race.
Mhm.
um, Not barefoot though. But yeah,
Mhm.
so it's just showing kids that you know they can become overachievers. They can become um they can overcome their obstacles and things like that. So that is the purpose behind the story. That's
Yeah,
why I started writing.
yeah, that's very good. Going back a bit, when you talk of Turner syndrome, I may not have heard it before, and many of the listeners or the viewers may not have heard about it. And for those who are listening, Turner syndrome. Turner is spelled Turner.
Mhm.
What's it? What's it?
So Turner syndrome is, like I said, it's a chromosome abnormality for girls. They are missing a chromosome, the X chromosome, or they have partial of that chromosome, and it just there's different characteristics, different things. It's like a spectrum condition, so it's not going to be the same for everyone. Some
Mm-hmm.
people can have like a mild case of it. I believe they call it mosaic, where they don't present like your typical child with Turner syndrome. Like sometimes they can have a webbed neck, or they'll have low setting ears, or they'll have many moles on their face, or they're usually short in stature. They're usually, if they don't take hormones, um, if they don't get hormone injections, then they're usually about between 4'6" and 4'8" in stature. But if they do take hormones, and they might be able to get to like 5 foot. It just depends. But yeah, so and they can't have children on their own. Like their reproductive organs and all that stuff isn't, it's not working. And but yeah, so it, like I said, it only affects girls. And
Mm-hmm.
I read that about 15% of miscarriages are of girls with Turner syndrome. Like their parents don't know that they're girls and things like that. But yeah, so the ones that do make it, they are miracles. They do face challenges and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just one in every 25 to 4,000 that will get it. So it's quite rare. But yeah.
Mm. And If I missed it, at what point uh, did Emma go to heaven? I mean, that was just
I
before or after?
I was 16 weeks pregnant.
Ah,
So I
okay.
was still, yeah, I was still pregnant with her. Yeah, so she was not getting any better and things like that. But I was 16 weeks pregnant, and yeah, and so she went back to heaven, and it changed my life. I mean, at that time when you're going through it, you don't see the
Mm,
purpose of the pain. You don't see, you go through every emotion. You're upset. Because I mean, I was a nanny. So taking care of other children was my job. So when I, you know, was given the opportunity and given the news that I was going to have, a child of my own, like that was the best thing. And then it just felt like a cruel joke was played on me when I found out that she was sick and that she wasn't going to make it. But that fades because you have to go back to God. You have to thank Him for every opportunity that He has given you, and He's changed my life through that. So I think that that was her purpose. I think she served her purpose, on, just being 16 weeks inside of me, but she changed my life.
mm,
Um, so I think that was her purpose. That was her reason for being here in this space in my life. I think about it every day. Like I have a daughter now. I have a 4-year old, and she talks about her big sister Egg. We call her Egg. She talks about her big sister. Um, she wants to wear her hair like like Egg, the character, and things like that. So she still has those moments where she talks about her big sister, and I like that. And everyone that knows me, they will know about Egg. They will know about the story. And that's just what I want. I didn't want her to ever just be a phase in my life that I never mentioned, that I never talked about, because I feel like if something changes your life that much and has made you a better person, you can't just not acknowledge them and praise them for that. And that's what she did. So she served her purpose.
and I like the fact that even at 16 weeks, you had a name for her.
Oh,
And
mm-hmm,
because that's gonna bring out another sensitive issue that is discussed everywhere. Like, if she's inside of me, I can do whatever I want with her. She's not a human being. But
mm-hmm,
at 16, you identify her as a living person and give
mm-hmm.
her a name. That's very good of you.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
she, yeah.
we shouldn't encourage other people to just value life, however young it is. So that's very important. And
Mm-hmm.
for Emma, she continues to pass a message even when we did not see her face.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yep.
Mm. So then you wrote the first book,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first book.
The first book is Emma Grace Gets a New Friend. And so this book, the first book, is very informative. Like you're going to learn about Turner syndrome. You're going to learn you're introduced to Egg, you're introduced to her family members and things like that. But and you're introduced to like how caring she is and how funny she can be and things like that. But you're mostly introduced to the Turner syndrome itself. Like she goes through, visiting the doctor. She goes through getting orthotics for her feet because sometimes the girls they have to have orthotics. So you see her going through all of this. She makes a friend. She gets upset with her friend and things like that. But you're introduced to Turner syndrome. It talks a lot about Turner syndrome. And one of the things that I wanted to do in all of my books, because it is informative, there's a glossary. So, people can learn about Turner syndrome, they can learn about different things, but I always wanted people to because that is the goal, to bring more awareness to Turner syndrome, to bring more knowledge of this condition. So there's a glossary in there of the things we talk about, the orthotics, and Turner syndrome is defined in there as well. But I always want it's fun, but it's educational as well.
Hmm. Okay, and a lot of illustrations. So, what age do you intend this book to be read by?
I think we can start at, well, my daughter was 2 when I was writing the book. She was almost 2, and she just loves it. So, I think a good age would probably be 3. 3 to 10, because it's showing, it's showing the when you're in school and you have a friend that you're trying to make friends with, or
Mhm.
you might not like this person or things like that. So it's showing the kids like being different is great. That even though we're different, we're all the same in certain ways. And it's like encouraging them, like, don't give up, don't let these little obstacles or things that you see as obstacles stop you from trying your very best. And your very best is just that, your very best. Like,
Mhm.
don't compare yourself to others. This is your life. Um and you have to do what makes you happy. And so this is, it's just like, it's okay, we're different, and it's great to be different. Like, I always wanted to stress that having our differences and things that make us unique is a beautiful part of this world,
Mhm.
and it's what we need.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's beautiful. I see that you have highlighted and you make it so profound the initials EGG, which make the egg part of it. Now, I mean, and we can see that it's Emma Grace Godwin's, and the egg is an acronym of that name. But
Hmm.
since you pronounce it so much, what significance did you have on the word egg? I mean, what did it give you?
It just makes it easy. It's just cute. It sticks out as egg. And it was easy for my daughter to pronounce. Like, Emma Grace, because that was her name. Emma Grace is a lot, but egg is cute. And one of my good friends, when I was pregnant with Emma Grace, she started calling her egg. And I was like,
Mhm,
that is the cutest thing ever. So one of my really good friends, she gave her the nickname, and that's how it was. Like, as soon as I found out that I was pregnant, started working on names and things like that, and she just, from the beginning, she was known as Egg.
mhm,
So I wanted it to, I wanted to keep that. That's what we started calling her as soon as I found out that I was pregnant. And now the people that are like our fans, or the people that read our books, and they're called the eggshells. So that's our little fan name. You know how like Beyonce has the beehive, so we are the eggshells. But yeah, so that is where Egg came from, her name. But one of my good friends started calling her Egg even before she was like, oh, Egg. And I was like, that is so cute. So yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful. And you
Hmm.
know, the other significant part of it is that just like we talk about everything else that happens, the nature that we have that comes from a seed, then we all come from an egg. And
Exactly.
the message that you're trying to pass out there, that is coming from egg, that we did
Hmm.
not see, but is going to birth a lot of things. This is what I
Yes.
believe. And now, since you've given us that, you've reached out to the children and want to sensitize them into the good things about life and good behaviors, good principles based
Hmm.
on the books. That's very good. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Second book.
The second book is called Egg Gets New Ears. So I like I said, I was a preschool teacher and things like that. So we always used to say, turn your ears on. And in this book, and I love this book because this is the book where you see a lot of her personality. You see, um, Egg coming into her own, like, you're learning more about her, and not just Turner syndrome. But and a lot of girls with Turner syndrome, they have to wear hearing aids because they have hearing issues and things like that. So she's getting new ears in this one. She's getting her hearing aids, and right there in the book, you can see like she has a little hearing aid, and so you go on the adventure of her like getting in trouble at school because she's talking while the teacher's talking, but she's asking questions because she can't hear. Um, Her grandfather has hearing aids, which is funny because my father, when you look in the book, it's my father. So, and he has hearing aids. So they're talking about, not hearing or hearing and things like that. And So it's like it's just any typical 5-year-old that gets in trouble for not listening or not turning on their listening ears. So it was really, it's a way that is relatable to all children. You ask any preschool kid or elementary school kid, their teacher has definitely told them to turn their listening ears on, or and so they can definitely relate to that, and parents can, because we're always telling them to turn on their listening ears. So she gets new ears, so that she gets a hearing aid.
Hmm,
Hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So Egg gets a new friend, Egg gets new ears. What other new thing is coming forth? I'm
So
curious.
the next book will be called Egg Gets a Promotion. Um, And in the third book, which will be coming out, I think I'm going to make it a Christmas book. It was supposed to come out early this year, but life happened, so it didn't. But I think I might make it a Christmas book. I think it'll be great. But she is getting a promotion. She is becoming a big sister. In the book, the mom, myself, is pregnant with my daughter, Talia. And we talk about that because I feel like if I was going to write a children's book, I'm going to have my family in it. I'm going to, it's my book. I want to put my people in my family and things like that. So in the first book, or in this both in the second book, you can see that Egg's mom right there is pregnant. That is me. So she's going to get promoted to big sister, and it's really cute. She's thinking of her way that she's like, it's not going to change much. There's going to be one parent for me and one parent for the baby. And she'll quickly learn that that is not the case, that, even though the baby's small, but they do require a lot. So she's dealing with becoming a big sister, and having to share her parents when, she hasn't had to do that because it's just been her.
Hmm.
So that is the third book. Egg gets a promotion. Hmm.
Yeah, beautiful. And now, because we see a very big smile, a very jubilant mother, and a very optimistic mother, I'm curious, and maybe someone else who's listening out there is curious to know, how did you get over that incident or that loss, and afford to have a big smile even as we are talking, and afford to pass a message out there through the books that you're writing? How was the adjustment?
I felt every emotion. I went through every emotion to get to this place. Like I said, I was very angry in the beginning. I was upset. Now that angry stage and being upset with God only lasted like 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, well, you
Mhm.
can't be mad at him. But I mean, I did. I felt um betrayed. I felt upset and things like that. But I knew that, just my faith in God, I knew that it wasn't going to last. And I knew that he wouldn't allow this to happen without something coming out of it, without good coming from it.
Mhm.
And that's what I believed in. And, I lived in Atlanta at the time, and I moved back to South Carolina. I was with my family, and because I just needed to be with them. I needed my mom, I needed to be with my mama. And
Mhm.
but I knew that such a great loss, I was going to receive something from it. Like, that was just my faith. I knew that he
Mhm.
did not just do this just to say, okay, well, that's it. That's it. This is your story. This is the end of it. And I knew that it was going to be more greater. It was going to be greater than me. It was going to be much more greater than just this incident, just this thing happening in my life. And it did it. Like, it just, like, I just can't say how much it has changed my life. It propelled me. I never thought I was going to write a book. I never thought that this would be the path that I was going to go down.
Mhm.
But it was just a lot of prayer. It was a lot of talking with my family. It was a lot of just talking about it. I feel oftentimes people, when things are this difficult, they keep it private. And however you grieve and however you decide, that's on you. But I've always been a person, I'm a talker. I wanted to talk about it. I'm very transparent in my life. And I've always been that way. And I think that transparency helps other people. Some
Mm-hmm.
people might not be as vocal as, about their struggles that's going on in their lives. But I feel that the people that are vocal, they help people.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone doesn't have to be the same. And like I said, we have differences, but for those people that are vocal about their struggles and are transparent, it helps those people that can't be vocal. They do feel like someone is on their side or someone is going through the same thing. And I think that when we struggle and we go through difficulties, if you are a vocal person about it, it definitely helps other people say, I can get through it too. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted people to know that it is hard, it's going to hurt. Um, and you just have to allow yourself time to grieve, allow yourself, your time to be upset, your time to want to cry all day and things like that. You know, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
had a moment, I think, not too long ago where I was just, I was doing an interview. I was talking about the book, and afterwards I called my sister and I was crying because I was just like, I would give anything in the world to have her here. And like, all this happened because I lost her. So sometimes it still happens.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
years pass, but I'm like, it's still like, I would love to not just have her in books. I would love to have her here,
Mm-hmm.
but that wasn't her purpose. But you still have those moments where you're grieving, things like that. But
And
it
yeah,
makes me happy
yeah,
to know that, we're here now. So
yeah, and it's good that you're a talker. I mean, someone's gonna speak out there, and yeah, there are those people who are just waiting for someone to speak a word. And another fact that I like now that your books are here, uh, carrying on the message of getting something good from something that not so pleasant happens in your life, but you've got to draw something good out of it. It's like many people I'm seeing coming out of the COVID-19 restrictions, or rather, yeah, and they have a something to tell. I mean, a story, a book they've written, a play they've put together, a business they've started. So
hmm
this is beautiful, even when your book is going to bring out some good message from the loss that you encountered.
yep.
Yeah, and I thank you very much for doing it.
Thank you. I just wanted to bring awareness, and
Mm.
I just thought that I was the one to do it. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna make this happen. Oh, sorry, my
Uh-huh.
computer's its own thing. But it was like, I'm gonna make it happen. I'm going to be the one that brings awareness to this. So
Beautiful. So, for those who've been with us, we thank you. For those joining us, or those who getting to watch this or listen to this after we are through, we are very happy to have you. And we thank April for being with us on this episode and
thank
writing
you.
a series of books. And oh, yeah, we didn't talk about You Have Doll. Tell us about this.
Yes. So this is the egg doll, and I was so excited. It's a reading buddy. When you're reading your egg books, you can hold on to your doll. You can go take her on mini adventures. That was one of the things that I wanted to do. I just wanted to have her here and have the girls, the boys, girls that read the books, like they have a reading buddy, and you can take her on adventures, because that's her whole thing, like going, her exploring her life and exploring the
Mhm.
world around her. So I'm like, let's make a doll. And my daughter loves her. She sleeps with her and things like that. So we have our egg doll, and we have our egg t-shirts, where egg is, you just see her, she's just doing her thing, egg. So I just, I'm like, I just want everyone to walk around with their joy, their egg joy. So yeah.
Oh, that's cute. That's just cute.
Thank you.
Now, please tell us, because we've seen the books, we've seen the dolls, we've seen the t-shirts. Where can we get all this?
You can get all of this at the egg stories dot my Shopify. So it's just the egg stories .myshopify.com. It's on Shopify. You can look for us. All the books are there. All of the you can pre-order the third book. Like I said, the third book will probably come out in December. You can pre-order that book, but you can get the books, you can get the egg doll, you can get the t-shirts. Yeah, all of that is on the egg stories .myshopify.com.
Beautiful. And we are going to share that on the show notes. We thank you very much for giving us all that. And
Thank you.
we are waiting to see the changes that egg is going to bring in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, once again, we thank you. But before you go, at Book Talk, we always ask someone to leave us with a few words that we will always remember. And this is your time.
Okay, I would like to leave you guys with differences make the world go round, and we need to ever I think we need to acknowledge our differences and praise our differences, because they make us who we are, and there's no one better to be you than you. So just enjoy your differences, walk in your differences, walk in your uniqueness, because God blessed you with these traits, and they're meant for you, and your gift is here to help someone else. So yeah.
Oh, that's cute. That's beautiful. I love that. No
Thank
one
you.
can be better
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
your better you. Oh, how did you put it? Put it again for us, please. To
I
remember,
said
so that we surely remember. No one, yeah,
yeah, no one can be a better you than you. So
no one can be a better you than you.
mhm.
Okay, I'm going to keep on saying that. No one can
Okay.
be a better you than you. Oh, that's good. So once again, thank you very much, April. We really appreciate you taking your time to come and bring us these books at Book Talk. And we ask people to go and get the books for their
Yes.
children to highlight the issues and encourage them and inspire them into being the best version of themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you, and
Thank
thank you to the viewers and the listeners. We've come to the end of our episode today. I'm your host, Anthony Morore, and our guest was April Fore, and together we are saying bye for now.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Anthony.